You have a lot of outside agitators who come to the United States from these countries that are not America's friends, and they pretend like they're on the side of black people, and they're really not. I want y'all to listen to this. Listen to this, and y'all tell me if this sounds suspicious.
Said about black Americans getting reparations. Watch this.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Erin Kimura. I'm a fifth generation Chinese and Japanese American and a fifth generation San Franciscan. I'm here today to fully support black reparations because this is the bare ass minimum. Period. The bare ass minimum. History is enough of a reason.
Emotional appeal. She might as well said, I got some hot sauce in my bag. Are you guys seeing the con? I mean, just saying. Does she really look like she cares about reparations for black people? I'm just asking questions. Or is this her trying to make an emotional appeal to black people to kind of stir up the racial dissension? I'm just saying. And keep America, at odds with each other. You tell me what you think. And I'm not saying this young lady is. I'm just asking questions.
The dehumanization that we've seen is enough of a reason for why we need redress and reparations now. This is not an impossible reality, right? We've seen this with the Japanese Americans in the late 1980s. They received on a federal level reparations. And the fact that black folks and our black community and our brothers and sisters are still waiting for a formal apology, I'm just going to leave that there just to simmer. And I just really want to note, especially as an Asian American woman, I would not be here if it were not for the black liberation struggle, the black freedom fighters, culture creators, and the world builders that have fought for my liberation. So,
thank you. Thank you for your comments.
She's not wrong. Japanese Americans got federal reparations in the late.
She got all the talking points, huh? But I'm just saying, I want y'all to understand something. We have people right online, right? That cause dissension. So
apparently, when the Black Panthers visited China in 1972, they stayed on my campus of Peking University. A lot of their
Black Panthers did what? Where did they visit? Somebody type Black Panther. Where did the Black Panthers? Did y'all hear about this in your Black history? Let's listen to this very carefully.
I just found out about this, but apparently when the Black Panthers visited China in 1972, they stayed on my campus of Peking University. A lot of their goal was to learn about the international solidarity movement, learn traditional Chinese medicine.
So the Black Panther Party visited communist China. I wonder why.
I've known about this history of the Black Panthers' visit to China in the 70s for a few years now, but it was especially touching to know that they lived and taught at a place I've been calling home for the last year, especially because they taught in the building Jingyuan 3 where my master's program is in, when it used to be the School of Foreign Languages. Huron Newton, one of the founders of the Black Panthers Party, met with then Premier Zhou Enlai and was also an avid follower of Mao. He was especially aligned with Mao's ideas of solidarity of all oppressed people of the world, and that the black struggle was one that China should be concerned with. There's so much more history to this visit, including clinics in Oakland that now do acupuncture and traditional medicine because of this.
I wonder what else they teach in the Black. What else? Do you think the Black Panthers went over there to learn acupuncture? What do you think they went to learn?
Visit, as well as scholars and writers and historians like R.D.G. Kelly and Robertson Todd Fraser who have written about this. But for now, it's a lovely feeling to be able to know that home feels a little bit more connected.
Do y'all think that the Chinese people love black people? Do y'all think that they... I'm just saying, what does your gut feeling tell you? Just respectfully, no racism in the chat room. Do you think that the Chinese people brought black people, the Black Panther Party over there to China to teach them acupuncture? Is that what you think? Who thinks that? If you think that, or could it possibly be they brought them over there to continue educating them and brainwashing them? And that being the case, now that you understand, and you keep in mind that China is America's sworn enemy, right? So does this make more sense now? I want you to listen. Does this make more sense?
conspiracy theory. It's literally on his Wikipedia page, but they didn't do it because he was the leader of the Black Panthers. They did it because he was doing something that was much more threatening to the US government. You see, in the years before he was murdered,
I wonder what Fred Hampton, who was the leader of the Black Panther Party, was doing that was much worse and more threatening to the United States than leading the Black Panther Party. Somebody type, what was he doing in the chat room?
Hampton formed a group called the Rainbow Coalition, which was an alliance between the Black Panthers and the Young Patriots, which were a group that represented poor rural white people. In declassified
poor rural white people. Somebody type socialism in the chat room.
Documents, the director of the FBI at the time, J. Edgar Hoover, specifically talks about his concern that Fred Hampton could become a quote-unquote messiah who unites working-class people across racial lines. So on
working class people. You see the language? You see the language? I know it sounds good, right? But these are key terms related to socialism and communism. You understand what I'm saying? So our black leaders from the 1920s all the way up to the 1970s were inundated with this communist philosophy and these communist beliefs. So it wasn't that they were just leading a ragtag group of black people with a few pistols. That's not a problem. There's always been guns in the United States. It was more of the ideology. It was that China and these other enemies of the United States were using these black people basically as Manchurian candidates, as rebel rousers, to bring in, communism and socialism and undermine what we have going on here. A system, communism, that's already failed. Again, remember, how did they even become to believe that this socialism or communism was bringing forth answers? Remember where we came from. Remember the desperate situation that black people were in after stuff had got burnt up, houses, land was stolen. Think about that. All right. So we were looking for answers. Somebody type answers in the chat room. I'm going to let this gentleman finish.
December 4th, 1969, the Chicago police, working at the behest of the FBI, raided the Black Panther headquarters and shot Fred Hampton in his bed while he was asleep. If you think stuff like this isn't happening anymore, you're a fool. We already know from leaked documents and whistleblowers that the government is actively monitoring working class movements. A lot of protest movements take place on
working class. Again, we're talking about socialism and communism. This is what's going on. Look, you don't have to like what I'm saying. I'm just asking you questions. You can do your own research. But it's plenty of black folk out there talking stuff about the government. However, it's not a lot of black folk trying to bring in a competitive ideology, okay, or being used by foreign agents, which is what I see was happening, which is why those Black Panthers and all those so-called revolutionaries were such a threat to the United States government, because they were undermining what makes America America, and that was the capitalist system that we have. Let's keep listening.
Line now, and I know from personal experience that anytime you post something even vaguely political, an army of weird accounts with almost no followers show up to make incendiary comments.
All right. So you guys kind of get the point of where I'm going with this. Now I'm gonna go ahead and try to bring this on home because it's important for me to tie this up like a bow, so you can actually learn something. And shout out to everybody who's been contributing to the Super Chat, the Cash App, and the PayPal. I hope you all have learned something. Please subscribe to the channel. Help me get to 200,000. But again, that's why socialism, look, it sounded like the answer to black people at the time. We were watching our people get lynched and dispossessed of land. We were segregated. We were underpaid and over-policed and legally humiliated. And, America said, well, that's capitalism. That's democracy. And so socialism said the problem wasn't merely racism. Oh, no, it's about power and wealth and ownership and labor exploitation and economic control. And from the viewpoint of many black people at the time, the rich in America were overwhelmingly white. And I'm not saying all white people are rich. There's some poor white people listening to me right now. Shout out to all the poor white people who grew up hard in trailer parks and got a cousin on meth. But bottom line is, the rich white people in America, the rich people in America were overwhelmingly white, and people benefiting from black labor were white. Okay, so when socialism said, hey, take from the rich and give to the poor, many black people heard it as if, okay, if white people, if white America won't let us keep what we built and honor our land titles and protect our towns and give us equal courts and let us compete fairly, then maybe the government should be forced to take from white people who hoard the wealth and redistribute it to black people who've been robbed. Damn. Really? Okay, Dennis. Okay. But see, that was the emotional and political logic. We ran our leaders off, right? We didn't have institutions. We didn't have jobs. We tried to build. They burned it down. So many black leaders and thinkers reached to the point where they said, well, you know, in effect, if we can't be allowed to build and keep our own under the capitalist system, then maybe the answer is to force the government to redistribute power and land and money and labor and rights and housing and protection. So socialism was never the answer. We have to understand that, okay? But we also need to understand why it was attractive to our leaders.